Hi, and welcome to Mom Boss Chronicles. We are your host. I am Jen.
I'm Sue.
And we are empowering and inspiring people through meaningful conversations. So make sure to like and subscribe to listen to great content weekly. Welcome back, everyone, to Mom Boss Chronicles. We have a really fun topic for you today. I think it's my favorite.
Yes, definitely. You came prepared today. I got a list. We got lots to go over. It's like all the fun hot topics.
Yes, we're talking about the hot topics going on in the world today.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I listened to Heather McDonald. If you guys are, ever want to check out another cool podcast, it's like mindless entertainment. And I just
Wait, didn't you just see her in person?
Yeah,
for a show, right?
Yeah.
How was it?
Amazing.
That's awesome.
It was so fun. She's a stand-up comedian in addition to being a podcast host. Oh, I can't talk today. But she's funny. She gives funny content about motherhood. Being a woman, it was just really normal, funny stuff, but it was just great. It was awesome.
Oh, cool.
I went with my sisters. If she ever tours again or she's in your area, definitely it's a best girls night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's good to know.
Yeah. So I love her. So she's like my Wendy Williams. You guys know Wendy Williams? Yes. Yep. I love Wendy Williams. I love Heather McDonald. And they talk about all these juicy hot topics. So I figured we'll talk about it. We'll give you guys our take on it all and, let us know what you think.
Yep.
So I guess one of the biggest hot topics right now is the Blake and Justin.
I don't know. I don't know what to think about.
Oh my
all
God,
this stuff
I know.
Because the back and forth and he said, she said.
Yes.
It's like, where does
It's
the
exhausting.
truth lie? I'm really curious to see if stuff will come out in the.
I will, because they're supposed to go to trial apparently.
Yeah.
But I remember in the summer when it first came out, I was just like, oh, that's weird that they're not getting along in separate rooms. And then when she came out with that thing, a lawsuit against him right before Christmas, I was like, oh my God, she must really have gone through something for her to accuse him of this. Why wouldn't she just move on? She has a career. So I was on her side at first. I'm like, damn, she, a poor thing, if he really did set up this social media thing to bash her, if he did sexually harass her, screw him.
His the PR team, spin everything
I was
in a certain way.
What a, jerk.
Yep.
But then when he came out with his side, I was like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, no, I never did the smear campaign.
Right.
Here's all the, she didn't release the full text. Let me tell you exactly what went down. No, I never sexually harassed her. Look at all our conversations. I was like, oh my God. So, and they say, and I guess it'll come out, this was all about control for her.
Yeah.
She wanted to control, and he was a director. So she was trying to get him to move the movie along the way she wanted.
Yeah.
Because she changed scenes up. She apparently fired the music composer to who she wanted. Yeah.
Interesting.
So she wanted to take over the project. So it was more about her control. Oh, and he has the rights to the second book. And I guess she wanted those rights and was trying to get them taken from him so she could do it.
Interesting.
And if that's the case, wow, screw you, Blake Lively.
There's different ways I feel to go about it. Instead of why don't you figure out how you can collaborate together, then
throw him under the bus.
Listen, the fact that if he really did if that is very true and it's factual and he was inappropriate with the women on the movie and sexually harassed them or made them feel uncomfortable anyway, then fuck him.
I know. I hope that comes out. And I hope they are able to come to the conclusion that
and I give anyone credit for sticking up for themselves if that did happen. It's not easy. If it's not true, man, that's some really deep fucked up shit.
Right? Yeah. That hurts every woman who went through it because now you're just going to lie about it's messy. And like you said, there's just so much to it, so many layers.
Think about it. You're pulling your family into that situation as well because it's so publicized.
I know. And now will either of them work?
Right.
I feel like for a while they're not going to get jobs.
Go under the radar. Yeah. Who knows going to want to attach themselves to something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just wild because I really did love Blake and Ryan before.
Yeah.
I thought they were so cool.
Right.
And now this kind of tarnished my image.
Yep.
Because I'm like, wow, if they really were trying to mess with him just to take over the movie and that's how they did it, then I feel bad for the man.
It's pretty grimy.
I know.
Yeah.
Because people who've worked with him, he was on Jane the Virgin. Everybody's like, no, he's an amazing person.
Yep.
But who knows? I guess when they go to trial.
Right. We'll find out.
We'll see.
It'll be very interesting. I'll stay neutral until then, until we know.
I think he's suing them for $400 million too.
Oh my God.
Isn't that crazy? That's their whole net worth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So we'll see if they settle or if it goes trial. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be as big as the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Imagine if at the end of the day we all find out this is just entertainment, a publicity stunt to just keep us all enthralled, and really, and I've read this from, other publications and his name is escaping me, but the other lead actor.
Oh, the guy who played the other boyfriend.
Yes, Atlas. he said something along the line, like they were asking him what his thoughts were about it. But for him, he said he had a woman friend who experienced, domestic abuse. And he did the movie primarily
to show
for her, to really show support for everything that she went through. And he feels really bad that, that's been overshadowed 100%. By like this
drama.
That's so crazy.
I know, because obviously this is bigger than the movie.
100, yeah, it is. And that's sad, because the reality is, like, there's so many women who are affected by domestic violence every day, in every part, in every, bracket of, like, where we are financially. You know what I'm saying? It's not, like, it happens a lot. So sad that that's kind of taken away to the
I know, because it was a good story.
Right.
For women.
I read the book in, like, 2 seconds.
Oh, so did you read the book and watch the movie?
I did.
So I didn't. I've only watched the movie. Would you say the movie follows the book, or is the movie more romanticized? Because
it's more romanticized.
They say that's a critique of it, like
100%. It was not as gut wrenching in some parts as it really should have been, and it's hard to see. But I would have preferred a little more seeing, like, maybe that altercation where the woman is actually being hit to, like, really drive that point home. Like,
he's bad.
Yeah. Like. Women are getting hurt. They're really getting hurt because they're getting their asses beat by somebody who's bigger than them.
And being intimidated. Because in the movie, they kind of make it brush over, like, was it an accident?
Yes.
Did he mean to hurt?
Right, exactly. Did he rape her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where obviously, I guess, like you were saying, if you read the book, no, it was very obvious what was happening.
Yep.
And that makes me sad, because if that, like, I feel like that story does need to be told.
Yeah.
In an honest way, and it's sad if they just glossed over it and romanticized it.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, they say allegedly it was because Blake wanted it that way.
Right.
She wanted it more romantic cut.
Yeah, you can't do that. There's nothing romantic about domestic violence.
No.
At all. It really needs to be starkly and truthfully, and it may make you uncomfortable, but so be it.
I know.
It's not comfortable for the person experiencing it, so well, I guess we'll see what happens.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So I haven't listened to the episode yet, but I am, like, totally excited, intrigued. I can't believe it. Alex Cooper, Call Her Daddy podcast is going
super popular.
Has Monica Lewinsky on.
Wow.
I listened to a quick little snippet of the interview. I'm so excited to listen to it later on today, the full interview. But she mentioned, at the time when everything happened, we were little kids, right? Like, I remember this happening and it being all over the news. Yeah, we were probably like in middle school.
Yeah.
But, she was 22 years old at the time.
And I didn't think
he was 49. And, like, now as adults, full on adults, thinking about, like, holy shit, this girl was
taken advantage of.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Completely. Because you're dazzled, right?
Yeah.
Like, she's like, I really, like, had no business being that close to the president.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? At that age, you're dazzled and all of this stuff. And basically just, I can't wait to listen. She just, the effect all of that had on her life.
Yeah, and still does, because hear the name.
Yep.
And she tells anybody, hi, I'm Monica
Lewinsky.
Lewinsky.
They spun her to be this, like,
villain
whore, and like, but no.
Yeah, because I feel like when I was younger, I was like, wow, she's, like, in a way, a villain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, she pursued the president. Like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with her? He's married. How dare she?
Yeah, like, what a hooker, you know? Right. And that's how the press spun it. And it's so sad that, like, she still has that kind of stigma attached to her. But the reality is she was a 22-year-old girl in a world that she was not prepared for, and she was taken advantage of.
Totally. And she made a mistake.
Yeah.
Like, at 22, how many mistakes did we all make in our 20s?
Jeez, if they were publicized.
But she, unfortunately, was all over the news. And now that I look at it in those lens, I feel for her. Like, she should have been protected. It should have been more like, poor Monica. How dare you, Bill?
Yes.
Like, you groomed her or led her to do, not okay.
I can't imagine it. Whether it was fully consensual or whatever, you're the grown man. One, you're married.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a grown married man. And you're the president of the United States of America. Like, have respect for the office that you hold.
At least for a couple of years.
Correct.
Together.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So
I can't wait to hear that interview.
Yeah.
And I wonder what happened to her life. Do you know? Like, if she...
I don't know. I hope. I mean, I think that finally people are thinking about it
differently,
in a more critical way.
Yeah.
Where, like, it was like, taking, we're just taking the press's word for it.
I'm thinking of her negatively, where now hopefully people give her grace and realize she's been traumatized.
Right.
Like, it's another case that recently came up that people were talking about. And I don't know if they're going to do a show on it, but remember Amy who shot the Buttafuoco.
Oh yeah, Amy Buttafuoco.
Yes.
I mean, wait, Amy Fisher.
Yes,
and she shot
Joey
Buttafuoco's wife. Yeah,
and somebody was like, she was 16.
Yeah.
And I mean, not that it's ever okay to shoot anybody.
No.
That was wrong. But
Right.
damn, what was a 16-year-old doing with a grown man? Like, that is wild.
Yes. Yep. Like disgusting.
That is so disgusting.
Yeah.
And like when you think about it, she was 16.
Yeah, I remember that too, and thinking like, how old was he?
And at least in his 30s, I think.
Yeah, it was just gross. Like,
yeah.
ugh.
Like, so it's just wild when you think of things like, and how young these women were.
But she was also spun. I mean, listen, you're right. You should not be shooting anybody, but she was spun in a certain way by the press.
Instead of being like, wow, this 16-year-old was manipulated by this older man.
Statutory rape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wild.
Yeah.
And another famous case that people are thinking about differently, the Menendez brothers.
Yeah.
Not wild.
It is.
Did you
so
see
crazy?
The Netflix series?
So I watched like half of it.
It was hard to watch.
I had a tough time watching that. I had to turn it off. So.
I mean, the subject matter is really tough.
Yeah.
But when I watched it all, and I feel like obviously that can be romanticized too, Ryan Murphy's edit, like there's somewhere in between the truth and like what happened. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like they were abused.
Yeah.
And now that you know what they went through, it's almost like, like
you have like sympathy in a sense. Yeah.
Like the way they killed their parents was definitely cold-blooded and really messed up.
Yep.
But when you hear about all of this stuff that they went through, it's just disgusting.
Yeah.
And I just...
Yeah. It's a hard one. That's a true gray area situation.
Right?
Yeah, because what do you do? And it was such a different time.
Totally.
Then. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if something like that happened today, I feel like there's so many more outlets for children or young kids, young people to go to seek help or guidance, and there's not the stigma is not as bad to say, hey, listen, my dad, I'm being abused.
I know.
I need help. You know, whereas like when in what was it, the 80s or early 90s, like you dealt with it.
Yeah.
You swept it under the rug.
And they kind of just, I feel like, told their story more as like these were rich kids who shot their parents for money.
Right.
Not these were abused kids who shot their parents.
Right.
And now what should happen to them?
Again, press spinning things in a certain way.
So apparently they're not going to have a retrial, the DA said, but they may go up for a review board. Mm-hmm. And if the board decides that because they've served, I think, over 35 years, then they may be let out. And they say that they're, good prisoners. I don't know. It's so hard to say what somebody will be once they're released.
Yeah. I mean,
I hope that
if they let them, they would probably be on probation or something for a while, right? Yeah. So, but if they've been good in prison for this many years, that probably says something.
And I hope when they get out, they do some good. Like they're able to help advocate or do something. It's just so hard.
Yeah.
And in the prison reform, and I know Kim Kardashian's doing a lot of it, it's hard because obviously the way our prisons are set up are they there to rehabilitate people? No.
It's all money making.
Right?
It's a money maker.
And it's heartbreaking because
especially the privatized ones, it's all about, listen, I can go on for days and I'm very disheartened with the way things are in our country, but it's all about profit.
Follow the dollars.
Yeah. So that's sad.
Because if you make a bad decision as a young adult, you're screwed.
Right.
And then when you come out, they're not setting you up for success. You're going to probably go in again.
They're not.
Because you don't have skills. You don't have the mentality to cope with life or what you went through.
Yeah.
It's like a bad cycle.
It is.
Yeah. It's just sad.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah. I mean, another thing from our past that's been a hot topic is Justin Bieber.
Yeah. What's up with him?
I know. Yeah. They've been saying he isn't looking great lately. He is a new dad. And, obviously when you're a parent, you're tired. Yeah. But he does look so different.
Yeah. Listen, for someone who has done drugs, I guess, in the past, I don't know a whole lot about him, but, I know I've seen pictures or media on him in the past, like fucked up, or whatever.
And he was young and dumb, and I'm sure he was, and obviously,
And you're exposed to, you're almost groomed. Like he was groomed.
I know when for that about
type
P. Diddy.
Yes.
Then you're like,
well, that's what I'm thinking too. Perhaps all of the stuff coming out about P. Diddy, and stuff going to trial, there may be some really, but maybe there's some stories that may be coming out that involve him. You know
I feel like maybe the FBI has talked to him, and maybe he has to, go through that trauma again.
And that would be enough to turn the strongest person to feel like they need to numb themselves. Who knows, right?
And obviously what we know about P. Diddy, and it's not verified that he hurt Justin, but there could be a connotation that something did happen there. It's just heartbreaking.
Right. It's sad for him.
And it makes me realize, we were kind of saying this before, children shouldn't be in Hollywood.
No. 100%. Like there were so many times people were like, "Oh, you should get Michael into modeling." Not a fucking chance. Like, no.
When I was younger, I used to really want it.
Yep.
And I remember even thinking being famous was so amazing.
Yeah.
But now all this stories coming out about P. Diddy and all the famous people.
Yep.
I feel like, damn, that's a really dark world. And thank God we're not famous. Like, thank God we're not in that world because it just sounds dark and creepy.
So I may have said this before, but I have a friend who has worked with very high net worth people. And she said to me that the more money people make, the weirder
they get.
Their shit gets.
Like, it's like a psychological thing,
Correct.
right?
It's like constantly chasing the dragon, right? So, like, you have money now to do these things that, like, maybe a little deviant.
Yeah.
But now that's not sufficing. That
Your
deviant
chase.
Right. So now you take it a step further.
And
But then that dulls. And all of a sudden, before you know it, you're like, they're like wrapped up in really nefarious, crazy, disgusting things, you know? Like, so.
And it's just crazy because it's like Hollywood glitz and glamour.
Right. It's a God complex too.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't realize, and even rich people, it's like, well, why would you do these things when you can have anything you want?
Right.
Like P. Diddy, I don't get it. You could have had any girl. Like, why are you assaulting people?
Yeah. Because it's like a disgusting, like, fetish, I guess, or deviance that, like, I think comes along with this, like, fame, fortune.
And the money. Yeah. I know, more money, more problems.
Yes.
But it is like, yes. And like, they say, because I saw the Diddy documentary, like, did P. Diddy kill Biggie?
Yeah.
Like, according to this one documentary, I think it was on Netflix or wherever I saw it, the bodyguard was saying how, like, Biggie was like, I don't want to go to California. Like, he really didn't want to be where he was that night. And P. Diddy's like, no, we're going. Like, he's the one who pushed him and then he got shot. So, but it's one of those things where it's like, I can't believe P. Diddy was that horrible.
Yeah. I think he's always been a huge piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he did a good job at hiding it.
Totally.
He did a good job of paying the people that were close to him to hide it, or
for all these years.
Threatening their lives.
Yeah.
Or, holding stuff. But he just is an awful human being.
And people say, like, why now? Who knows why now?
Yeah, because you know what? Shit comes out in the wash.
Yeah.
Like, you can only get away with being a piece of shit for so long. Do you know what I'm saying? Before eventually, like, the thread will start to unravel.
The light exposes. Yes, and I hope that happens. It gets exposed, everybody who was involved.
Right.
Because, I mean, I do love Jay-Z and Beyonce. I like their music, and it just breaks my heart if they are affiliated and they were so close. They had to know something.
100%. I don't and I feel like, I really loved Beyonce. I liked her in Destiny's Child. I liked her post Destiny's Child when she first went out on her own.
Yeah.
And then over time, like, the person, like, I do, but I don't. Like, there's something
that was off.
There's something off. And I feel like she fell into that, like, there's something.
It's like you were saying, like, you kind of get the chase. Like, I feel like she let the fame and all that kind of go to her. And she's like this weird person that you don't even know. And
but also, too, like, I don't know, if Jay-Z was cheating on you, why would you stay with him?
I know.
Ew. Like, you're Beyonce.
I know. You're Beyonce.
What are you telling
people? You have kids and you can get anyone you want.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just weird. Hollywood's weird. So it's like, I'm grateful I'm not a part of it. And I definitely feel like I was listening to a podcast and they were saying about what should they do about children who are a part of Hollywood. And they're like, AI.
Yeah.
No children should be in Hollywood.
That is so smart.
And they were like, it's such a slippery slope.
Yep.
Because maybe they're okay now, but how many children actors have gotten, like, into bad things,
drugs, or got into drugs, because think about, like, the Cody, not the Cody, what the heck are their names?
You're talking about Corey's. Yes, the Corey's.
Right? They were given alcohol, they were given drugs,
and nobody believed them.
And no one believed them, and then they were molested.
I know, and nobody believed them.
Nope, and that's so sad.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? And
And the girl who just died from Buffy,
Michelle Trachtenberg.
They said she had, and I don't know why she died now, but they were saying something about her liver. She had a liver transplant, and I think it was from alcohol abuse. And why was she so out, like, at a young age? What did she go through? Yeah, like, it's just
like, oh, well, you're too fat, so start taking this. I
know.
You need to pep yourself up. Take this. Like,
So I just feel like,
I would like to think maybe in 2025 that has stopped, happening, but I just don't think so.
I know.
Unfortunately.
No, it's such a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And they were saying, so then that bleeds into, what do you think about children and social, like, who are featured on social media? Their parents, like, YouTube accounts or TikTok. Because
personally, I would never document my life for public consumption. Maybe this is growing up with a police officer dad, but I don't need people knowing where the fuck we are.
I know what your house
looks
like,
what my house looks like, where we live. Like, no, thank you at all. And it's hard because I guess in some sense I feel like you're exploiting your children because they didn't
consent to be on TV crying or on the YouTube channel.
Or are they old enough to consent?
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know any better. They're taking your guidance.
Yes. And sometimes you're showing weird situations of them throwing a tantrum or them misbehaving.
Right.
And is that going to traumatize them when they get older?
Correct.
Like, this has a million views.
You expose a sensitive piece of my life for millions of people to consume. Like, that's weird. Not to mention, again, going back to really disgusting people that exist in our world.
Who consume that.
Who look at this stuff and who knows what they're looking at your children and thinking, you know what I'm saying? And I think about that stuff too.
And they're not safe if all these eyes are on them.
Right. Yeah. Like overall, like, every now and then we'll post our kids on our, Mom Boss Chronicles, which I'm fine with, Yeah. I don't post Michael on like my public real estate page. And for like my personal pages, if I don't know you and haven't met you personally,
then
I don't approve you.
Yeah.
So,
and I love what you said coming from a cop background because your dad has probably seen and done a lot. So 100%. He's like, you have to protect yourself and there's weirdos in this world.
Correct. Like one of the biggest things he's like, even when you go, he's like, I don't want you posting that you're away, like.
Oh, true. Oh my God. I'm a victim of doing that.
Yeah.
You're so
maybe
right.
It's like you do after.
You are so right.
You don't really need people knowing that you are away. You're not home. All that stuff, right?
Because there are bad people who are watching.
They are.
Yeah.
And like and the kids, that's the biggest thing too. Like,
I know. And so there's laws coming out with the kids who are featured on these channels. Should they get paid? Yes.
Oh, 100%.
If you are a content creator and you're featuring your children and you're making money based off of content as a family, of course these children should be paid.
Like a trust should be set up for them. Yeah.
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 There's one content creator I follow. She has 5 kids. And the 2 older ones, one is like over 18 and one's 16. And she said that they consent to be filmed. So they're filmed. But her 3 little ones, they're always like the back of their head. And I like kind of appreciate that. Like, or she blurs them out. So she'll show you their day, but she won't show the faces of her young ones.
That's great.
Yeah. And it's mostly about her. Like it's from her point of view.
Okay.
It's not focusing on the kid.
I can respect that.
Yeah. Because it's definitely a weird slippery slope if you're focusing on the child's stories and it's not your story to tell.
Right. It's not. But I do think that there are a number of people out there who are exploiting their children
for content.
And that is truly abhorrent.
I know.
That is disgusting. Like if you chose to have a child, it is 110% your responsibility to protect that child no matter what.
Yes.
Like our children are not our little money makers. Like no.
That's like the Ruby Frank. Have you heard about her? Like crazy lady.
Yeah.
Like
how do you do? Like I just can't wrap my head. Like how do you do that to your child?
I know, especially all those eyes on you.
Yes.
Like what? Mm-hmm. Just sick.
Yeah.
It makes me sad the world we live in sometimes. Sorry, we'll like change it up a little. Another hot topic that as moms that we think about is like, whoa, what do you do with your kids on social media? Like when they want to consume it or be on it. Mm-hmm. My son is 9. Yeah. Michael's 6.
Yep.
Yeah. So like I feel like I have a couple years, but if it was up to me, I don't think he'd ever be on until college because we were lucky enough that our generation was not on. There was no option.
No.
Until college.
I didn't get a cell phone until junior year of high school.
I think I was a senior.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've had a car. My mom's like, here, now you
and it was a Nokia. There was no like internet.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't even know if it had texting.
Yeah. But I would love to not have them see social media or be in that world.
Yep.
But the kids are doing
it. You know what? My local mom friends, we all have decided that social media not until at least like senior year of high school at minimum. But we have to see what life is like then too. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think there was like laws that they were going to pass, and I hope they do. Something about like I don't know how it would work, but like
16, I think.
But
right?
but like also if your child was younger, like limiting what they see, I don't know how that would work. Like something like they could do parameters around the social media accounts if you did say that was a minor.
Right.
I hope they do.
They should. I mean, I think they kind of have to because there's some negligent parents out there,
and it's hard because like even when you're young and you're on social media, you definitely think that's what life is,
of course,
and social media is not what life is.
No,
it's not what it seems.
And kids it's not even children, it's adults too. People feel way more emboldened to say things that they would never say to your face.
Yes.
You know? So, and like kids are awful. Like we're awful to begin with, you know? Like kids are mean. And that's just a part of life, right? So give them like a platform to hide behind a screen and say really, really mean, hurtful things
and how gut-wrenching
to their peers, right? To their peers. And that's such a critical time in a kid's life. You're already feeling sensitive and unsure
and as a mom, you know, because I was as a teenager, I didn't want to tell my mom everything. I was super private. So I feel for a parent whose child is upset because of what's going on social media, but won't open up.
Right.
And that's sad because as a mom, it's like, I want to make you okay. And like, what's going on? Let me in. And sometimes the kids won't let you in. Of course.
Especially when there's stuff going on.
Yeah.
You know, like that.
And that's why I'm like, oh, I hate that there's social media.
Right. Like, what if, kissed a boy?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, you kissed a boy, you're a slut, you know, like all this stuff. But online. Then you feel, can I tell my mom that I did actually? Yeah. You know, like, it's a lot.
I know.
And that's probably just like a small tip of the iceberg.
They deal with. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Or seeing their friends doing TikTok videos with other friends and they weren't included. Like, that hurts. Like, you know, feeling left out.
Yeah, I didn't even, right.
Like that, like, complex of it. It's so hard.
And I think the very odd for me to kind of wrap my head around thing is like kids that are on social media or even not, like if they have like the smartphone, they follow each other, like they share their location.
Oh, I know. What is up with that?
I think that is the weirdest thing ever.
I think to keep tabs on each other,
which is weird. Like why? Go live an individualistic life, guys. Yeah. You don't need your friends to know where you are at all times. You don't need to know where your friends are all the time. I never in a million years would have ever wanted everyone to know where I was. Yeah. No. That's just weird.
And you're right. Like, I feel like it's like a group mindset. Like, please don't fall for the group mindset. No. Please be individual. Yes. Like, you do what you want. Right. Don't fall because your friends are all going to go here doing this, that you have to go there or do that.
And again, from a safety standpoint,
stop.
Why are you sharing your location?
And only your parent.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't get it. You know?
I just don't know how we'll handle it, but it's one of those things where you just have to take it day by day.
Listen, I think despite what other people may be doing, because 100% we're going to run into that.
Yes.
We're going to run into that. There's going to be other parents who are a little more lenient about this kind of stuff. You just have to stand your ground.
I know.
You know?
They're going to cry. Everybody has it. Everybody has it.
Well, you know what? We're not everybody else, and it's my job to protect you. Not anybody else. And like, that's it. You know? Yeah. And if you're going to be, you may be hated for a little while.
For that choice. Yes.
Correct. But, you know, when our kids are older and they look back and they say, wow, thank you for caring so much about me. That you did that.
I remember my mom, she was like, I thought so mean and rude because she wouldn't let me do certain things. But I get it now.
Yeah.
And my son has a watch and I'm okay with that. I'm comfortable with that. But I know he's like, my friends are getting phones. No, absolutely not. And he's like, or my friends have the Apple Watch. Your watch that you have can send messages, can call. Yes, we're good.
That's
like,
good.
we don't need.
That's all you need.
Yeah, you're 9. Chill out.
Yeah. But it's interesting because these are a lot of stuff. Like, these are things we're contending with as parents that our parents didn't have to really worry about. I guess in a sense, the difference was we were out.
Yes.
Gallivanting through town without any sort of,
My mom had to drive around her car and hunt me down.
Jennifer.
Yes, where are you? You are not at Jessica's house. I remember her saying, you are at Jimmy's house. Like, sorry.
I'm just kidding.
But it's funny. The kids are going to get into trouble. That's just what they do. But
we'll do what we can to protect them, right?
Yeah. Speaking of kids, it's that time of year where we have to think about summer camp.
Yeah.
Oh, this is rough.
Yeah. I feel like I lucked out.
I know, because
the town camp.
That's awesome.
For now, for now.
Going.
Yes.
Yeah. So Hunter used to go to another camp, and at first it was a couple years when I first enrolled him. It wasn't a town camp. It was like a private camp. It wasn't that expensive. It was, expensive, more expensive than the town, but it wasn't anything that unattainable for us.
Right.
So I sent him, and he went there. But now the prices, I feel like, have honestly, like, almost doubled. Yeah. Like, it is disgustingly expensive. And I have 2.
Yeah.
So it's just both my kids there. I can go to Europe. So no, they're not doing that camp.
Right.
I want to get them in a town camp, but it's wild because by me, the desirable town camps get filled up so quickly. So I have to hurry up and rush and register them for that.
Well, it's crazy that people are, because I've seen many, many memes and posts and stuff from other moms, like just got over paying for Christmas and let's now get ready for camp in January.
Yeah. It is. And these camp costs, some of them could be crazy expensive.
Oh my gosh. So wild. Like $10,000 for the summer.
It's crazy. Yeah. And you want your kid to have a good summer.
Of course.
I do want my child to have fun. My summers were filled with sitting inside the house and watching MTV.
Right. Same.
So I do want them to go out and swim and skateboard and enjoy, but at what cost?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a second mortgage.
Yes.
Right.
And I told my son that, like, there's a local camp. He can go to the local town camp by us. And he's like, that's going to be boring. Yeah, I'm sure coming from that other camp that I sent you to. But,
you know, like, kids are resilient. He'll be fine. And he makes friends so easily.
Yes.
Like, as long as he's with some friends and they're being silly and having a good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part, though, for camp is, like, it suddenly ends.
Yeah.
Like, it's not all summer.
No. Well, so, like, my town camp ends.
Is it like 6 weeks or 7 weeks?
Yeah, like ends
and
right
summer's
before
like 10 weeks.
August 1st. And I'm like, okay. So, like, Michael goes to Lake House. I signed him up for a week with them. And then I was like, okay, then there's still 3 more weeks. So what are we going to do? But to your point, instead of spending the money, I think what we're going to do is maybe go to Europe.
I love that. Because otherwise you literally will spend that money.
Exactly.
On
so
camp.
like, why not do that and have a like really cool, fun experience where he's being educated on other cultures and languages and food and stuff like that. So I have friends that live abroad. So why not, right?
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe that'll be like maybe that will be a tradition, right?
Yes.
Instead of... Because August kind of is chill for the most part.
For our work.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we are lucky where we could take the time with the kids.
Yep.
Yeah. And like, so that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. But I know there's a lot of really great camps out there, like Monmouth County Park System, right?
Yes.
You did that with...
I did that with Hunter last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The problem with I love the Monmouth County Parks, but it's like a couple weeks at a time.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out a way to get him in for like one camp for the whole time.
Right.
And I think I'll be able to figure it out, but it's just hard to piece this together.
Yeah, for sure.
Because when you're trying to factor in cost or days, like when does it start? When does it end?
Yeah.
And it's hard as a working parent. So to all you other moms and dads out there trying to piece it together, I love my husband, but he's like, tell me what they're doing. Like, he doesn't think about that.
No.
I feel like it falls mostly on the moms to think about how their children are going to spend the summer.
Default, yeah.
Yes.
100%.
And my daughter, she's 4, so there's not a lot of camp options for pre-K.
Right.
So she gets what she gets. But
yeah, she's kind of in that like in between.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think what we're going to do too, because a lot of camps, we're in New Jersey, so school starts in September. I know in other parts of the country it starts in August. But what I think we'll do, because a lot of camps end in August, is same. We're going to go away for like a week or 2 with them and just enjoy time. Yeah. Or they'll be home with me and won't go to the beach.
Right.
Like we'll just.
There's no shortage of stuff to do locally either. Right.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay.
Yeah. So bracing ourselves for that.
Work, kids, everything.
So speaking of kids, like one of the things that I was thinking that is a struggle as a mom, do you force your kids to do certain sports or music that, you know, it's hard because my son is 9 and he's tried basketball, didn't like it. Tried baseball, didn't like it. Tried soccer, didn't like it. Tried tennis, liked it for a little, then fought me on it. And I think it might be his like ADD. Like, so I'm like, am I supposed to force him? Like, does Michael like?
So right now, I will say basketball has been easy.
That's all.
There's like no issue to go.
That's awesome.
That's been a very easy thing. Music class also very easy.
Like he took
for him
to that.
Go.
Really,
he really likes those 2 items.
That's awesome.
He was doing jujitsu for a long time. Yeah. And I was really more the driving force. And like it was a lot. Like they really did want the kids there to be there five days a week.
Oh, wow.
I was trying because you're paying for 5 days a week.
I mean, it's
it's a
big
lot.
Tuition.
So in my head, I'm like, oh, then you're going at least 3 days. You know, like we're getting our money's worth.
But he didn't enjoy it.
He didn't enjoy it. You know, he's a sensitive, sweet boy, and jujitsu's rough
or like wrestling,
which that was part of the reason I wanted him to go, you know. But one day he's like it was always it was turning into a fight
to go,
and I'm like I don't have
need this.
I don't want to deal with this. And then like one day he's like, Mommy, I'm just a sweet boy, I don't want to fight. And I was like, all right, I can't, like, how am I going to argue with that, you know? So I guess it's like kind of seeing what, I don't know, because I do think if the kid, if they're signing up for something, you have to see the season through. Mm-hmm. So that's my thought.
I know, like you can't quit in the middle. Right. I agree. I don't. Yeah.
Like if you decided you want to do this, then you got to finish it out. You can't leave your teammates hanging. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want to do it after, then okay.
I know. At least you tried it.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's some other things. I just think some things are not worth the fight.
Yeah.
At this age.
Yes.
You know.
I mean, I remember back to my childhood. I definitely feel like I was one of those children who did quit easy, and I don't know why. And sometimes my mom would force me, and I was so grateful.
Yeah.
Another time she would let it go, like piano. I remember doing keyboard lessons and I learned how to play.
Right.
And she said I would complain about going, so she stopped forcing me, but I kind of wish you did it.
Right.
It's like,
it's weird, right? It's like that. There were some things too I wish my parents would have pushed me a little bit harder to stick with.
You're going.
Right.
Like Hunter is in the band at school. They're doing the saxophone. And it's a hard instrument.
Yeah.
And he's getting very frustrated with it. And I keep telling him, then let's switch instruments, or do you want to stop? And he's always like, no, but he cries about it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things we have to push forward with him. I think so. Yes. My gut's like, we're going to have tears about it, but I think you're going to appreciate once you master
like
the
he'll
skill.
probably have a breakthrough at some point.
Yes.
And I mean, if he's still open and willing to stick with it, even though he's
upset about it. Yes.
Poor buddy.
I know. And I look at him playing, and saxophone is hard. It takes a lot of breath and like coordination. So
and to like the wood piece to get it like
sounding
the right. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't think I'm going to let you quit at least now. Like, we're going to see this throughout the end of the school year. You're going to keep practicing that saxophone.
Yep.
But there's certain sports where, like, he's a good baseball player. He's a lefty, but he gets bored with it.
Yeah.
But Gary's like, let it go.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do it.
Right.
And I'm like,
and maybe he'll come back around. Maybe he'll have a friend that joins the team and is like, okay, let me try this again. So I guess right, because they're developing over time too and figuring out what they do like and don't like. And yeah, that's a tough one too.
I know. He's into skateboarding now.
Okay.
So I signed him up through the county park system skateboarding classes.
No way.
Yeah.
They have that?
They do. I know. So I was
That's so cool.
Yes, in Long Branch.
Yeah.
In President's
President's Park.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe like sports like that are your thing. So we'll see. So I signed, and he liked flag football. So
well, say, listen, at a minimum, like he's so lucky that he has a dedicated mom who is letting him try all. Like you're facilitating him to try all of these things to find out what it is that he likes.
Yes.
So I think that's a very important factor too. If you can, if you're able to, and let your kid explore.
Totally,
what, really speaks to them because maybe it's not the traditional
sport
soccer,
baseball, basketball, that I did.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Just,
I know.
never ending drama with motherhood.
What are we doing next?
Yeah. I guess another hot topic that recently came out. Did you hear about like the controversy of plastics?
Oh, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's in everything. It's
like
in our brains.
So it's like one of those things where it's like, damn, water. Like, where do I drink my water then? Because they're like avoid plastic bottles because there's like plastics that go into your body from there.
Yeah.
And apparently
I don't buy plastic. I haven't bought plastic
awesome.
bottles in years.
So do you drink
one
filtered?
from because I don't want to create more waste. But I just have my water. We have water bottles, and I have a filter.
Oh, that's smart.
I have filtered water at home.
And then what do you do about Tupperware?
I only use glass now.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I need to change.
Yeah.
I need to change. I know in my mind, every time I go to the microwave or I heat something up, I'm like, it's plastic. What am I doing?
Yep. Yeah, I switched a lot of stuff out. So I don't use sandwich bags anymore. I just use paper ones.
Yeah, because they say sandwich bags are bad too.
Yep. So I went back to paper.
Like parchment paper?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it holds, you could fold it. That's awesome.
Yep. And the other thing I switched out, the gallon, the Ziploc gallon bags. I mean, these haven't been tested, so I hope they're okay. But mine was more about the waste aspect of it.
Of plastic?
Of weight, of single-use plastic kind of stuff. But these ones are biodegradable.
Oh, that's awesome.
So they'll biodegrade. And
where do you get it?
On Amazon.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like a container,
It's like a regular. It looks like a 2-gallon Ziploc.
Oh, that's so cool.
Regular, but it's just biodegradable material.
Yeah, I should look that up because now knowing what we know about plastics, how can you turn your eye on it?
You can't.
You're not supposed to heat it up in the microwave. Yep. It can. Oh my god! When I think.
Well, I was thinking about baby bottles.
Oh my god! Yeah. Or all the lean cuisines I ate.
That too.
Oh, God, I loved lean cuisines. I used to microwave that up and
yeah, all of it. I've been trying to just do my
bottles.
best to eliminate as much plastic as possible from everything.
Your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only because it's going into our system, but just from that it doesn't disintegrate.
I know. So now what? We're going to be a sea of plastic. It's just
we're
wild.
We're going to drown in plastic.
Literally. And it's just wild how much plastic is everywhere.
Yeah. And food.
Yeah. And everything, straws, bags, Ziploc, Tupperware.
A controversial topic. Everyone's like, "Oh, the straws. We should I don't need a plastic straw.
No,
you can make it out of bamboo. There's other materials. I get it. I don't like whoever came up with the paper straws. I get it. An idiot for sure. But there are other biodegradable materials we can use. Okay, plastic bags. I've been surviving just fine without them.
Same.
If you're crying over plastic bags, find something else to cry over.
I know
please.
they usually break.
They do. Yes. And you want to know what they do? Where they end up? Floating around in our ocean.
Yeah.
So please.
Yeah.
Stop.
Agree. I'm fine without the plastic bags.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody now talks about what do you do for the cooking? Do you have a stainless steel or?
A cutting board?
Yeah, or even your pots and pans.
Yeah, that is next I have to work on.
Right? Because apparently
I do have some stainless steel ones, which I think are fine.
Yeah.
It's the non-toxic, the non-stick.
That has Teflon on it.
Yeah.
It's just wild how like we live in a country where they allowed all this. Like, wow, they really didn't care.
Yeah.
Because you would think that like we have all these layers of protection.
Right.
You think that. You think like we have like, FAA or whatever who's in charge of consumer goods. And to know that like all these years they gave us these products that like contribute to our demise.
Mm-hmm. We wonder why so many people have like cancer and odd diseases,
and now we wonder why 2 people have trust issues with the government.
Of course. Well, listen, I would say like for anybody out there, it's our responsibility.
100%.
Like,
take it in your
You
hand.
have to. At this point, you can't trust necessarily what's going on. We hate to sound like conspiracy theorists by any means, but the proof is there. You can look it up, and read for yourself. If you can swap out even just some things in your kitchen, in your daily use that isn't plastic, that's a start.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to do that because I know I need to. And every time I see plastic in my house, I'm like, I need to.
And you'll save money. You spend a lot of money buying bottled water.
Yeah.
Like it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, our last guest, which I'll have to post, I posted today, but she had mentioned.
Oh, Jenny.
About the water.
Yeah.
That most water in plastic bottles anyway is not good.
I know.
Right.
It's just wild. It's like one of those things like, what do we do?
Yeah.
The more you know.
Exactly. Totally.
And I guess that's pretty much it. I had so much fun talking.
I know. Like, there's so much. We could truly go on forever and ever and ever because there's so much to talk about all the time. But we hope you guys found some of this stuff interesting. And as always, we love to hear your ideas and thoughts and hot topics and commentary on some of the stuff that we said and, discussed. So thank you for listening today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.